Might as well be first.
It's just as good.
Yeah. And that leaves me. I played Star Wars The Old Republic. And no word of a lie, this was one of those games that came out and it made me start to consider buying a gaming PC. And I had heard a lot of good things about it. I had heard a lot of bad things about it. And picking this game was kind of... I was shooting myself in the foot a little bit. Because much like my other series, Day One Noob, where I play games that I am just entirely awful at, MMOs are definitely up there for me. This is my first MMO as well as my first free-to-play game. So I had a bit of an uphill struggle with the gameplay aspect where I had to get used to using that little menu thing down below. Yeah, action bar, and like this camera is wonky this way, and doing this sends me over here, and and just the whole control of the whole thing. Like I think it's the first game where I really had to start using my entire keyboard, not just like the motions. So that was kind of weird for me. So once I got my head around that, it was all right. And I do have a problem with the MMO gameplay style, which has been why I've never touched them in the first place. Was just, much like Josh, how there's a sense of immersion in the game. If I swing a lightsaber at you and I'm nowhere near you and it still hits you, come on, give me a break. That's just... And I'm wielding a lightsaber. If I hit you with a lightsaber, you die. Okay?
There have been a couple of attempts at like more of a action-to-action style MMO rather than like... most MMOs like SWTOR run off of representation through avatar.
Yeah.
Right? And there have been a couple of attempts at doing MMOs that are actual arcade MMOs. DC Universe is one, Terra Online's another one. But yeah, by and large, most of them, for some reason, and I don't understand it either, because I find it very unsatisfying to play the game that way too.
You know, and there's so much...
just be ones and zeros.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, exactly. And to go on top of that, I really don't like the point thing that comes over the... I don't know the terms. I'm sorry, guys, but whenever you hit someone, it shows, 40 damage.
Floating combat text.
Yeah. If there was... Thank you, because I don't know this.
I hated games with that.
I know. I still do.
See,
I still have a problem
like them
with
myself, but
I still have problems with like having my gamer tag above my head. Go away! I don't need all that stuff.
Those are things that you can actually get rid of in the options, in the HUD options.
See.
One thing you do have to stress about most MMOs that deal with this style of gameplay is the user interface is usually hugely customizable.
Yeah. And hugely daunting for idiots like me. Gameplay-wise, that was a little bit off-putting for me. But I kind of knew that going in, so I just kind of went along with it. Graphically, I think that was the most surprising thing for me. When I had first heard about Star Wars The Old Republic, as we all did, we saw the CG videos, and we were like, oh my god, this is going to be epic. And then you saw the first bit of gameplay, and you're like, oh my god, that looks awful. Because it looked no better than World of Warcraft. And this is by the company Bioware, the guys who did Mass Effect, okay? And if you've seen that, it is Unreal Engine 3, which has its own problems. Like, I don't know about if you guys noticed, but almost every character in an Unreal Engine 3 game has that like Deadeye stripper look to their eyes, and like their mouths and everything will move, but there's no expression here. And then everything else looks like shiny. So when you go from Mass Effect games, which look very well, and you go into the MMO thing, you expect the same kind of thing. And then you see this cartoony World of Warcraft knockoff kind of cartoony thing, character models, and it's kind of off-putting. But when I went into the game, I was very surprised, either due to my computer specs or whatever, that they actually look pretty good. They're like a step above that cartooniness and just a step below the Unreal Engine kind of look. So it's got a happy little medium. For an MMO, I was really impressed with the character models and just everything, like the environments and everything, were fantastic. The sound design, you've got cues from all the Star Wars movies, and it's a great soundtrack. A little repetitive, much like Star Trek Online, I would say. The voice work is some of the best, I think, that would be out there for an MMO.
Even just games. And
yes.
Well, one thing, not to jump in on, but I've played a bit of SWTOR too.
Yeah.
And one thing, if we're talking about the graphics and the sound and the voice acting, I think what sets SWTOR apart in those areas is the fact that all of that stuff, unlike a game like WoW, World of Warcraft, or unlike Star Trek, in SWTOR, the sound, the voice, and the graphics have all been designed to fit together to help tell the story.
Yeah.
Because that game's a lot more about the cinematic experience more than anything else. Right?
So it's actually billed as the first story-driven MMO.
Which is what hooked me, okay? Because a lot of people have been saying, like, the best thing about this game was its narrative, and that it is a very story-driven game. That hooked me, because I don't want to be one of those guys who gets into an MMO and that is my life. You know, I don't want to be that kind of gamer. So if I could go into this thing thinking of it as a single-player kind of game... What'd I do? What's going on here?
I'm just accusing them, that's all.
Yeah.
Jesus! This is serious business talking about games here. Stop screwing around!
We're just talking about how Cory and I have both been that MMO, no-life person.
Oh, okay.
So
All right. So
we know what you're referring to.
thank you.
It's okay.
Thank you. And Skyrim was potentially that. Thank God it had an end game. So, you know, I would have been there too. Frankly, though, when I was playing through it, the MMO part of it really stopped me all the time. I hardly played more than, I think 5-6 hours of the game, to be honest. And I was planning to play the entire storyline this month. But I never got to that because I didn't feel immersed too much in the game. A Mass Effect game, it has a good way of every kind of mission has this story element that keeps you going. Whereas whereas Star Wars, it feels like your kind of gameplay that you're talking about, where it's like fetch quests. And it's just go here, kill these many things, and then return to us and get this thing. And only after you do about 10 missions like that do you get a story chunk that's actually impacting the narrative. And so that just kills me. It's like, I hate to say it, but it's a lot like when I play D&D, where it's like, we'll play for this campaign for a year, and we haven't even scratched the surface. Dude, I don't want to be here for that end game when I'm 40, okay? I'm the guy who wants to know there's an end in sight, and Star Wars just didn't feel like it had an end in sight quick enough for me. The other thing, and then we'll get right into the free-to-play stuff, was the MMO stuff, where I would go to do a mission that would progress the storyline, and I couldn't beat it unless I had somebody playing with me. Not to sound like antisocial, but I don't want to play with people.
Now, can I interject here?
Sure.
As a person who's played a lot of MMOs, I came to the realization a long time ago that I prefer it when I'm not interacting with the other people in an MMO, and I was actually able to get pretty far solo.
Yeah.
In that game by myself, so like it
might have been that I chose the wrong path somewhere along the line.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just saying that it is possible to play that game very solo, comparatively to a lot of other MMOs.
Yeah.
But it is still an MMO. There's still people there, and you still do have to interact.
Like there was, and this is what sucks, is that I got off the initial world, and this is where I gave up. I got off the initial world, and I went to this central hub kind of place where you can get all your merchants and like where everybody's like lining up for missions and all this kind of stuff. And I had to get on this spaceship to go to this next planet. On this craft, there's a mission that happens where you're pretty much hijacked. And so it says you need like 2 people to complete this mission. And you really do, because the one guy who's just a guy with a gun, he will kill you, even though you're dual-wielding lightsabers, he will kill you in an instant unless you have 2 people. So that was balls. So then I get a second person, only to find that this person was at the same level as me, but they were stealing all the loot. So I got nothing at the end of this, which sucks because in a game like Torchlight 2, the loot you see is the loot you get. You know, nobody can steal your shit. Why Star Wars isn't doing that too, I have no idea.
I think that's a thing you can set again in party options.
Oh, I wish. Oh.
I've never had that problem in Star Wars. Every MMO I played, it's always shared loot.
Well, this was the thing. They were doing something where it was like you gamble for it.
Yeah, need versus greed is what they're doing, and they're hitting need for everything.
Yeah, I had no idea what the fuck that was. And I was like, well, I'm not a greedy person. I'll just do the need because I thought that was the better option. I didn't realize, like, whatever. It frustrated the shit out of me for no reason. And I walked away with hardly any loot. So that was kind of a piss off. But what was really pissing me off and what was the crux was every time I did the final thing in the mission, the game crashed on me.
Oh.
I did this one mission 3 times, and then I went online to find out that it's an actual bug in the system, and you have to do this crazy-ass combo before the final cutscene of this mission, or else you lose everything. And I just said, you know, fuck you.
Wow.
So,
Wow, I had no idea.
yeah, it was just between, like, all these people stealing all my shit, and sorry if I'm so frustrated. Usually I'm a happy guy, but it was such a burden to me to do this thing 3... And this mission would take an hour at a time to finish. So, after all that, I was just like, no. So, I'm done with that. And it sucks because I hear it's really good story-wise. But anyway, I'm blathering on and on and on. It wasn't a good time for me, and I really wish it was, because it had a lot of potential. But if they fix it some time down the line, and I really don't have the hundreds of games that I need to play right now, I'll probably go back to it. But for right now, it just wasn't what I was expecting in the end of it.
Are you a Star Wars fan normally?
Yeah. Like, I grew up with all the movies, and I watched the dismal new trilogies and everything. And actually, I watched them recently. Yes.
I was just curious, that's all.
I even watched the cartoon.
Clone Wars, right?
Clone Wars, yeah.
I never watch it, but...
And you've got 3 new terrible movies to look forward to now.
Hey, I'll give Abrams benefit of the doubt. He did okay by Star Trek.
You know what? George
can't
Lucas
wait to
isn't
see-
involved.
Exactly.
I can't wait to see 70-year-old Harrison Ford as Han Solo. I can't wait.
Never
to see
mind.
it.
I can't wait to see Carrie Fisher actually like bring it to the table and Princess Leia, especially with that bikini.
You're more optimistic than I am.
They should bring
I
Jar Jar into the mix somehow and have him, like, crushed
Josh.
with,
Josh.
like, the garbage contact.
Josh.
Even to see him killed, we don't want to see him.
Get out.
No! You need to see him tortured to death.
You do, because he was the actual reason that the Empire got into power in the
I'd
first
love
place.
to hear a story about how this Gunkin, like...
He super was. He super was.
Needs to get full power to the Emperor.
Oh,
Thanks,
man.
Jar Jar.
Thanks,
Let's
Jar
kill
Jar.
some people.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that. Let's get on to the task at hand.
I never really made that connection.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, for sure,
Super
yeah.
Let's just put an idiot into power. So that, okay. Yeah.
Ask me if I like Star Wars. Dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, so getting on to the free-to-play aspect of this whole discussion. Let's start with Dean and we'll work our way down to Cory and back. What do you get from your game as a free player? What are the like not so much the benefits, but what's the initial package? Like, what do they say? Okay, as a free player,
If
here you
a
go.
person just wants to download the game
Yes.
without paying anything,
Yes.
what's the experience?
I get it.
Just in case you don't.
Nothing. I mean, you just get very bare bones. The gun that you start out with is shit. Doesn't have a full auto mode. You're just terrible.
How's that go? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm gonna doof you.
Doofy. Pack. But anyway.
Wish I had a doof gun.
Oh god.
Yeah.
No, as a free to play, very bare bones.
Okay.
You get you just get a basic weapon, and you get like
Here's a
helmet
bullet.
and get out the door kind of thing. You start paying money, you can get better weapons.
Okay. Fair enough. Josh?
What you get going in is bare bones to start off with. But, as I said, with the tech tree and everything, you can buy your superiority on the
Dollar bills,
battlefield.
y'all.
Yeah, you can shovel out $50 if you want the biggest, baddest tank on the battlefield, and you really love the game. I didn't love it that much that I was actually willing to pay into it, but it gave, with World of Tanks, it at least gave you some hope that I'm not going to be stuck in a tiny light tank for the rest of my days here. Yeah. You actually get to level up, and it will give you some better tanks. It will give you the opportunity to get even into like some medium tanks, heavy tanks, without paying a cent. You can play, but you have to play a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. It's like you have to invest a lot of time into the game. Or shortcut. You shovel out your allowance or whatever, and then you can advance yourself to the next level. You die less. You kill more because you have a bigger, better tank.
Yeah.
That's it.
Free to play Star Trek, you get everything. There are no restrictions on free players, with the exception of non-paying players do not get access to create their own missions in the Foundry. They can still play player-created missions, but you can't create them. And all of the microtransactions in Star Trek Online revolve around just sort of making the experience better, giving you more character slots, more ship slots, more duty officers.
Okay. Duty.
The whole free to play aspect of Star Trek Online is actually a lottery. Believe it or not.
How so?
There's a common drop in the game called Dominion Lockbox, and they drop off anything. Anytime you kill something, there's a chance that a Dominion Lockbox is going to drop. I've got, I think, 40 of the things in my inventory right now, and they just sit there. You can't open them except for one item will open them. It's called a Dominion key. And the only way to get Dominion keys are to purchase them through the SWTOR by either paying cash money for them or by paying dilithium for them. And you get dilithium by playing player-created story missions.
So you have to pay one way.
You either have to pay or you have to play a lot of player-created missions.
But how can you get the player-created missions without paying it?
No,
you only have to pay to make your own missions. You can play them for free.
Which is kind of backwards if you ask me.
That's okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty smart. So you can either pay up front for it and get these keys, or you get involved with the community. That's just it. You get involved with the community. You don't actually get your dilithium reward at the end of the Foundry mission unless you rate the mission you've just played. It's like you play the mission, you rate the mission, you leave comments, you get a dilithium reward. After you've done so many missions, you have X amount of dilithium, you can spend it on your Dominion Lockbox keys. You buy these keys. The thing about Dominion Lockbox keys is they actually have some pretty potent stuff. They have things like really rare duty officers. Duty. Really rare and hard to find ships that are like more powerful than anything you can buy. You can get in the game proper. Mm-hmm. So apparently they make a killing on these Dominion keys. They make an absolute killing. The game as a free to play model is more profitable than it was when it was subscription based. You know, not to get all touchy feely, but that's kind of a beautiful thing if you think about it. Just the whole you could give us money, or see all these people that are slaving away trying to create this content. Give them some love, and you get this in return.
You can also, if you like the touchy-feely aspect of it, when you're reviewing a mission, if you write a mission and I play through it and I really like it, I can give you things from my inventory. I can give you dilithium. I can give you credits. I can give you cash money if I really want to.
So there's a trade function in this whole... Wow. I'm pretty sure there is one in Star Wars too, but this... I like
it's like a tip thing, it says at the end of when you're filling out comments, if you like this mission, perhaps would you like to send the author a gift, and it gives you options for gifts. So
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, hardcore, man. It's actually
that's an interesting way.
I picked the game up originally. The reason I wanted to play this game is because I had played it way back in the day when it was subscription based, and I wanted to see what it was like. So I started fresh. I had no intention.
So it was subscription at one time?
At one point it was,
okay, all right.
I started fresh. I had no intention of sticking with the game. I just wanted to play it, get my experiences. Now it's a free-to-play model. I'm level 24 out of, I think the maximum level is 40.
Okay.
I'm level 24, and I'm going to keep playing it. I'm going to keep going with it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Jeez.
Make it so number one.
You almost...
Oh, Josh.
I was going to say something, but how can I follow that? All right. So, oh, yeah, me. Oh, sorry.
Would you like to see my captain's log?
As...
It's in my
duty. Now, I'm just going to reach over here for a second. Sorry. And I brought up the actual list for Star Wars, The Old Republic here, to show what you do get as a free-to-play kind of model and everything, because I would never remember all this. So, basically, if you sign up for Star Wars The Old Republic as free-to-play, the one thing that is completely unlocked for you is the story content. So you can go up to level 50 as just a single player. What you don't get access to as a free player is the option to run really fast, crew skills, a game login, bank cargo hold, credit cap, chat, mail, secure trading, galactic trade network, respect. You can't create your own character.
What do you mean game login?
I gotta
game login. I don't know.
You
what
actually
that is.
get some of those things.
I was gonna say this, yeah.
But
so shut up, Dean. War zones, flashpoints, space missions, inventory, quick travel, mounts, revive. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. But as Dean was going to say, you have to pretty much have none of those things up to, I think, level 14. You get sprint. I'm not too sure about some of the other ones, but I'm pretty sure it's the more time you invest into the game, the more level you get, then some of these things become available to you. Correct me if I'm wrong?
You're wrong. Sprint was originally a level 14 item.
Okay.
And they dropped it down to lower levels when they added this subscription. So it wasn't like it was a nerf. It's like they rewarded the people who were subscribed or got the preferred status.
I do. To be fair, I've been playing preferred status because I hate to say this. It is a free-to-play game, but I bought it before it became a free-to-play game. So I do have the preferred status thing. So I do have a lot of this stuff going on. But as a free-to-play player, you don't start off with it. You can get it eventually, but you don't start off with it.
I think the big thing is you kind of get everything, but you get everything in limited amounts. So you can still do instances, which are called flashpoints in this game. But you can only do like 2 a week. Whereas a subscription, well, you can do as many as you ever want.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way the model works for the whole free-to-play thing is you get a little bit of it, like the bank, for example. You have like 3 rows in the bank instead of having 20 rows in the bank. They tease you. They give you a little bit.
The good news is, though, is I've played SWTOR, and if I were to play SWTOR 8 hours a day, every day for a week, I'd probably meet enough players looking for a group that I'd be able to run 1 or 2 flashpoints. Really hard to find groups in this game, I thought.
Yep.
So I honestly didn't have any problem with the free-to-play stuff. I mean, I noticed like when I was playing with one of the players when they were a free-to-play player, and me being preferred status, I could run probably twice as fast as they could, and that's really not anything to complain about. The only thing I would complain about is maybe the character creation aspect of the whole thing. But if that's really no big deal to you, then yeah. Free to play, if you're just going in it as a single player experience and you just want the story, it gives you everything you need.
Just don't play this class. What class were you playing where you got stuck?
It wasn't a class. It was a mission.
Oh, so it wasn't a class?
No, it wasn't because of my class. No, my class was freaking the bomb. I loved it. It was just this particular mission where you go to the SLX.
The SLX mission, yeah.
Yep. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you're playing, I guess, a good guy, and if you're a Jedi or a smuggler or one of these good characters, and you get to this transport mission, you be careful. But that's neither here nor there about that. So as a free player, it just depends on what you're going in for. If you do spend... Oh, preferred status. All you have to do is pay $5 and you got preferred status. So it's not asking for an arm and a leg. So there you go. Anyway, we're going to move it on. Next question on the docket is, does your current free-to-play game offer a subscription model or premium rewards? So Josh, we'll start with you.
I would say yes, but I don't know enough about the premium rewards. I think I saw buy the premium. I could be mixing up two different games, though.
That could just be what they're calling subscription.
Yeah, definitely. But, like, you buying a big tank is virtually subscription because a big tank can cost you $50. So, like, right there, you've subscribed to playing this game a lot.
Yeah.
Well, at least if you don't have the funds that I do, and if you're someone like $50 is a penny to you, well, then it's not really you're subscribing to the game. You're just like burning your hard-earned cash on something just so that you can pone some people on the battlefield.
And that's
not hard-earned.
Yeah,
and
not
that's
hard-earned.
going to lead to...
Depend. Yeah. Oh yeah. Watch that on Facebook. But that's basically it. Like, you can go as deep into the game with your cash as you want, or you can play this game totally free like me. I was tempted to buy some gold coins. You know, the temptation is there, but I was like, no, wait. I like the word free because I've been told nothing in this life is free, but you can actually get away playing this game for free. But your time is if you don't want to spend money, you're going to be spending time and time is money. So you're subscribing your time.
Cool. Fair enough.
Sorry, what was the question again? What do we...
Does your game offer a subscription or premium rewards?
Yes. It has a preferred status just like SWTOR does, where preferred status is for anybody that ever had an account. And basically, it gives you both preferred status and subscription give you monthly credits towards the in-game store. Because like I said before, the bulk of the free-to-play money, the microtransactions revolve around these keys, right, that are sold in the in-game store. So if you're a preferred status player, they give you a small amount of keys every month, or a small amount of currency that you can use towards those keys every month. If you're a subscription-based player, you get a whole buttload of credits every month to use towards things like Dominion lockbox keys, buffs for your player, skill tokens to respec your skills, change your costume around. Most of the microtransactions that aren't based around the keys are based around vanity stuff, unlocking costumes and features for your characters and things like that. So having a subscription, it allows you to do more of that with more flexibility. But like I said, there's no consequence gameplay wise in terms of whether you have a subscription or not.
Right.
You could be a free to play player and I could be a full subscription player, and our ships are both going to work at the same level. We're both going to have access to the same missions. You're not going to be penalized for not having disposable income.
Yeah.
Yes. I just remembered when you do buy your tanks, it is like a subscription because it helps you gain experience a lot faster when you make kills, and same with your currency, so that you can continue to buy and research more tanks.
That'll come up in another question, I think. Yeah, because that's... Okay, Dean.
Well, premium rewards. You can buy gold coins. You can spend the gold coins on bigger guns. Better body armor, better grenades, better toys for your weapons, and just basic premium rewards. No subscription or anything.
Cool. I think we already talked about Star Wars, where there is a subscription model that you can do. There's also the preferred status, which is if you pay $5, you're good. And then there are cartel coins that you can purchase, and it gets you in-game items and things to upgrade your weapons. And from what I saw, they're not very cheap. I think the lowest is $5, unless I'm mistaken.
They've been
$4.99
the fine people at SWTOR have been heavily criticized for the implementation of the cartel coin system.
And to be honest, like the only game I can compare this to is Torchlight 2. That's my only other experience with this style of gameplay. And when I'm going through an MMO kind of thing, and you get your loot and your drops and all this kind of stuff, I go through my inventory, and I don't have the time or patience to look through all the stats to see, well, do I want that? That gives me this, and oh, it's got this much health left in it. I don't care. And the only thing I look for is that color green? Good. It's better than what I've got now, and I'll just switch it over. The crap thing is that if you go in and you buy an item, I'm afraid that I would buy this item for $5, hook it up to my character, and then when I'm going through all my loot, accidentally go click, and there goes my $5 item. I don't know if that's the case. I never came across this, but I'm just saying that is a fear that I had. And talking with Cory's idea of Star Trek, where you can outfit your characters to look like a certain way, I didn't look into the purchase pricing of any of these items or what items there were so much. I wanted to keep this strictly free. But if there was an option in Star Wars where you could pay a certain amount of money to have, say, Darth Vader's helmet with like the Red Guard cape going on and 2 lightsabers, which are like Darth Maul's staff kind of things, with like Luke Skywalker's boots. That's my foot, actually. You shouldn't see that. It's very pale and cold. But if you could outfit every aspect of your character with things from the trilogies, and you could pay a certain amount of money to do that, I could see how that would be...
That right there, you're describing the Marvel Heroes free-to-play system.
Exactly.
Because that's what they're all about is, you want to play as Iron Man? That's great. Buy the Iron Man starter pack.
Yep.
Oh, what's that? You want to play as Iron Man 2099? Okay, you better play a lot of this because you can unlock that with in-game currency.
Yep. I was actually going to bring that up. I'm glad you did.
My buddy, I found out today, my buddy's a beta tester for that game.
Hi. Beta tester number 2.
Seriously?
Yep.
Really?
Hi.
How do I... I'm like just finding out about this right now. That's like... I'm so into that game.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh.
Yes.
Yes, I am Josh. But anyway, back to it. So if they did something like that for Star Wars, I could see how they would reap the benefits of this thing. I don't know that they do. So even if they did, I would still have that fear of like, okay, I just dropped like $50 and look at my perfect replica of all the good things about Star Wars wardrobe. Ooh, look at that piece of candy, and poof, and then you lose it all because you didn't think to, click, whatever. So, yeah, I don't even remember what the question is.